Everybody knows Prophet Hannah was in love with a seal. Now, it wasn't a normal relationship. Like she never had intercourse with him. It was a different type of intercourse. But she was in love with Ron. Ron, that goes back years with Hannah. The problem is, over the years, Hannah, because she was celibate now, would call the men Rays. So they would take the first name, because of how large the story is. Let's say it's John, and add the word Ray, Ray, like Sun Ray, John Ray, or J Ray, or JR. Depends on the initial. But with Ron, it was Ron Ray, but he kept putting it as Ron Way because he wanted to maneuver certain covert operations globally. So Hannah's telling him it's Ray. He's saying it's Way. Ron Ray. He's saying no, it's Ron Way. Hannah's saying you're in Canada. And then at one particular time when it really got bad, him and the others got offended that I didn't say move me from here. Instead, I said protect the area. Now, it didn't help that there was specialized comedy that will probably never be shown. So it had to be Ron Way versus Hannah's Way. Years later, we're talking years later, it actually may be Ron Ray in the story for a different reason. They're looking at the complexity of how difficult it is in terms of bringing out emergence without raveling the earth too much. When I say raveling, you don't want, because of emergence, to be too tightly knit that it's going to impact the globe so much. So, they were concerned with that. But the way Hannah did it was just the right recipe. There was a problem. Foreign sold to foreign Prophet Hannah's work. So because they sold it to foreign thought it belonged to them. With the Victor Opera scandal. But it didn't belong to them. It belonged to Hannah. And that was rectified with the Law Society. So in saying that, between, them trying to do it their way and being closer to Illuminati in the States, and then trying to impose that in Canada, who was very defiant with their own culture. It was one of the worst tragedies and worst war cases, because Ron didn't want to step on Hannah's toes because Ron was just literally extracting information from Hannah. And Hannah was completely off at that particular time. So it wasn't like he was just trying to protect the United States. Ron Way. Hannah kept telling him, protect the area. Protect the area. Because between the technology they're using to cheat, between contracting out, let's say, the Russians, some psychology involved, them trying to crush anything and everything, a lot of lives were lost in the real version of the story. The story of Ron Way versus Ron Ray, another entry.